As for another top story, with future Hall of Famer quarterback Ben Roethlisberger retiring, the Steelers now have to turn the page to their next signal caller. So Pittsburgh GM Kevin Colbert had some interesting thoughts on the topic when he met with reporters yesterday. He said, quote, "If we started a season today, he's talking about Mason Rudolph, would be our starter, and we're excited to see where that can go. Mason's 5-4-1 as an NFL starter, albeit in a backup kind of role, but we're excited to see what's next for Mason." Now, reminder, Rudolph is signed through 2022, while Dwayne Haskins is set to be a restricted free agent after signing with the team last year. Both quarterbacks have been underwhelming in their NFL careers. Their combined record as NFL starters is 8-14-1. The Steelers do own the 20th overall pick in the first round of April's NFL draft. Not at all out of the question to imagine they could get a quarterback in the draft, especially with some of these QBs that could still be there at that 20th pick. But Jeff, what more can you tell us about the quarterback situation there in Pittsburgh?
Well, Laura, Kevin Colbert has been a great GM for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is an all-time Hall of Fame quote from a GM in February when he essentially says about the only quarterback who's under contract in 2022 that he would be our starter if we had a game today. It is a nice vote of optimism for him, but ultimately this is a situation where Dwayne Haskins has yet to be tendered. So right now, Mason Rudolph is the only player, really the only option for the Steelers right now. He also did say in all seriousness that he would enter camp with 4 quarterbacks. The question, of course, is one of those quarterbacks going to be at the top of the depth chart when camp does open?
You know, this is a crazy situation. Obviously, Kevin Colbert is doing what he's supposed to do as the GM. And really speaking of it matter-of-factly, that Mason Rudolph today would be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, no duh, like you ain't got no more. But let's talk about going forward. We have to remember, Kevin Colbert is retiring after this draft. And, you know, he mentioned that Mason Rudolph was 5-4-1. In those 5 wins, this team averaged giving up only 13 points per game defensively. And also, we have to understand who he's going to face year in and year out with the Lamar Jacksons, the Joe Burrows, and even if Baker Mayfield could play better, those are the teams he has to play twice a year. I don't believe the Pittsburgh Steelers can compete with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. I believe you signify, I believe you say, I believe you express to the world, to the NFL, to your city, and to your fans, we are not going to win a championship if on day 1 of the 2022 season, you march Mason Rudolph out there. You are saying we are rebuilding. This is a bridge. And like the London Bridge, I believe it shall fall. And so for me, I think you exhaust all you can to find another quarterback. And if you don't, you have to understand and taper the expectations of the team. Mason Rudolph is not a championship level quarterback. He's not. Nothing's wrong with that. We all have our lots in life. We all have our places on the team. Mason Rudolph's shouldn't be as the starter.
Well, listen, I think Jeff is exactly right. This is GM speak in February, and I think kind of getting lost in this is that there's going to be 4 quarterbacks in training camp, and I got news for everybody is that in Kevin Colbert's last draft, he's not drafting 3 quarterbacks, okay? He's not doing that. So the reality is they're going to add guys, and they're going to try to improve at the position, and they may draft one, they may sign one in free agency, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to get somebody that has experience as a starter. They're going to get somebody, or at least they're going to try to, exhaust avenues to improve. And so, listen, whether that is Russell Wilson, who I believe is dying to get out of Seattle, and I think Seattle will be happy to move on from him, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, who is going to be moved from San Francisco because of their current quarterback situation, or other guys that become available or currently, headed towards free agency. I think they're going to exhaust them all. I think they should, because of how the rest of the team is built. It's a good team. It's a well-coached team. And I think that some of those quarterbacks would find themselves in better situation if they were following Ben in Pittsburgh.
How realistic is that, Jeff? I mean, I love throwing this out here, finding out that Russell Wilson could go to the Steelers. Is that something that's going to happen? Because we all know Russ is going to be a big decision maker when it comes to his destination if he does leave Seattle.
I am in no position to sit here and say that Russell Wilson will not be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love where Tim's going with this, but I would say it would surprise me from the component that most of the sort of teams that Russell Wilson has dreamt about are big market teams. I know that the Pittsburgh Steelers, we talk about them a lot, and they're very visible, but ultimately, if Russ doesn't end up in a place like New York, if he does leave Seattle, that would be very surprising to me.
RC, what do you think about Jimmy G to the Steelers?
You know what? For all I've said about Jimmy G, if it is Jimmy G or Mason Rudolph, you sign me freaking up for the Jimmy G train. I will wear a Jimmy G number 10. We will get number 10 for Jimmy G. I will wear that jersey on NFL Live, and I will sing hoorah. Because one thing Jimmy G has shown us, if you surround him with the right people, he can get you to a Super Bowl, and he can get you to an NFC championship. I don't care where Mason Rudolph is playing. If Mason Rudolph was in Kansas City, they ain't going to the championship. If Mason Rudolph was in Green Bay, they ain't going to the championship. If Mason Rudolph played for the 1985 Bears, the New England Patriots would beat them by 47 points.
There we go.
Jimmy G.
All right.
I just want to know where RC sits on Mason Rudolph getting some burn this year. I feel like, go in on the guy, RC. Played a little bit as a rookie. Look, I'm not saying they're definitely going to get Russell Wilson, but if you're in Pittsburgh, you need to evaluate it all, and you need to kind of pursue it all, especially when there's going to be so much quarterback movement. And just to kind of follow up on the market situation, look, some of the wish lists for Russell Wilson, those things have dried up, and so, your next best option, might not be New York or Dallas because of the current situation.
Yeah, and Tim, I think the other piece of that too is Russell Wilson's going to say, where can I go win a championship? And that very well might be Pittsburgh if you think about the options that could be available, to Tim's point.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.